Hi, I'm Ron Call from Urbanfloor. Today I'm going to show you the basic installation steps for installing your urban floor using the glue down method. After you've removed your old flooring, the first thing you'll want to do is check the floor for flatness. The floor should be flat within 1/8 inch and 6 feet or 3/16 of an inch and 10 feet. Notice I didn't say the floor needed to be level. It only needs to be flat within tolerance. If the floor has a slight slope to it, it won't affect the performance of your urban floor. Come on, let's get started. Check the floor for moisture content using a calcium chloride test kit, which you can get from your urban floor dealer. It should be 3 pounds or less. This floor is exhibiting high moisture. Notice the alkali salt deposits on the floor. For this installation, we'll be using Urban4, our premium moisture sealer, crack sealer, sound suppressor, and adhesive, all in one product. You'll find your trial size on the adhesive pail, or it'll be in the instructions that came with your flooring. You'll also need some basic tools before you get started. A tapping block, hammer, pry bar, spacers, glue, and blue painter's tape. You'll also need a table saw and a chop saw to cut the wood in the moldings. Use mineral spirits and a clean rag to keep the excess glue off the floor. It's much easier to remove the glue before it dries. As we get started, the first thing you want to do is take a piece of your flooring and undercut your door jamb so the floor can easily fit underneath for a clean, professional look. You may need a small chisel to remove any stubborn pieces of wood. Be sure to remove any loose pieces of debris. Before you start spreading your glue, you'll also want to snap a chalk line that will be a marker on the floor that will indicate where your glue spread will end. It will also help to keep your floor straight as you're doing your installation. Measure the width of the planks you're installing. In this case, they're 5 inches wide. You only want to spread an area that you can comfortably lean over and work with. We will spread enough glue for the first 5 rows. So 5 inches wide times 5 rows is 25 inches. Mark the floor in 2 places using a pencil and then snap your chalk line. Now we're ready to start applying our adhesive. Start off in the corner of a room, work your trowel back and forth, hold it at about a 45-degree angle, and that'll give you the proper amount of spread. Be sure not to leave any bare spots or any excessive glue in any one particular area. Use your chalk line as a guide as to where to stop spreading the glue. Work from left to right, and when you've got the entire floor covered, you'll be ready to start installing your first few rows. Start installing your first rows working from left to right. Cutting off the tongues from the first row of boards along the wall will make your install much easier. Install the tongue side against the wall and using your spacers to maintain your expansion gap. Use your tapping block and pry bar to gently nudge the planks together as needed. Again, you're moving from left to right. Notice the staggering on the end joints? Stagger your end joints 6 to 8 inches apart for strength and a professional appearance. Keep a clean cloth moistened with mineral spirits handy to clean off any glue that might wind up on the boards or on your hands. Use your blue tape to hold the planks together as you install your floor. Remember to maintain your expansion gap with your spacers and clean and tape as you go. As you approach the other side of the room with your first row, you'll need to cut the last board. Mark it with your pencil to the proper length, and then it's ready to be cut with your saw. Now take your piece that you cut to the proper length and mark it to cut out the areas that will go under the door jamb. Cut using your table saw, being very careful to keep your fingers away from the blade. Now you're ready to finish the first row. Slide the board into place under the door jamb. Cut the last board of each row to the proper length and install it, maintaining proper expansion. In this area between the hardwood and the ceramic, the gap is larger, but it will be covered with a T-molding strip. As you're installing your rows, use your blue painter's tape to keep the floor from moving around while you wait for the glue to cure. This will save much frustration and time. Do not use regular masking tape, as this may affect the finish on your floor. And remember to clean as you go. Now you're ready to snap your next chalk line to spread your glue and work your way across the room. As you approach the doorway with your last row of boards, notice that I stopped my glue spread at the second to last row. This makes marking, cutting, and dry fitting these last boards much easier and less messy. Undercut your door jamb if you have not done so already. and then check for proper clearance. To cut the last row, place the board to be cut directly on top of the last row of boards that are already installed, and place a marker board on top as shown, and mark your cut line with a pencil. This will make a perfect cut every time. Use your marker board, pencil, and tape measure to mark the board that goes under the door jamb, and cut the last row of boards as needed using your table saw. Take your time and work carefully. Keep your fingers away from the saw blade and be sure to wear your safety glasses at all times. On your last row of boards, or boards that will be going under a door jamb, you want to dry fit them first. That way if they don't fit properly, you have to go back out and recut them again. They're not all covered in glue. Then take your trowel, apply the glue to the back of the boards, and then they're ready to install. Now we're ready to apply glue to the last planks using your trowel. Slide the boards into place, snug it up tight, and clean off any glue. Apply your blue tape to keep the final rows from moving around. Now we're ready to mark, cut, and install our transition moldings. Mark it for cutting, maintaining your expansion gap. In this installation, we will use a T-molding at the ceramic tile. Use construction adhesive to glue down the moldings on a concrete slab. If you're installing on a wood subfloor, you may also use a brad nailer. Just be sure to putty your nail holes with the appropriate color wood filler. Then install your baseboards and you're all finished up. And here's your beautiful Brazilian cherry urban floor. Once again, I'm Ron Call, and I just showed you the basic installation steps for installing your urban floor. If you have any questions, you can contact me directly at the blog section of our website at the Ask Ron column, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Once again, thanks for stopping by urbanfloor.com. We'll see you next time.